We have finally reached the top 10 area. These are the boards in which I consider to be the best boards in the Mario Party series, from each of the ones I've played, not counting Advanced or Island Tour. So, to start off the third and final part of this countdown, at number 10 we have what I consider to be the best board of Mario Party 1, Eternal Star. Eternal Star takes place on, well, a gigantic star. However, as you can see, it's been broken up into bits and pieces thanks to the Master of Dickness himself. It's Bowser, in case you didn't catch that. So now, since Bowser has control of this board, he's in charge of doing whatever the hell he wants. So this time, instead of Koopa Troopa hosting the boards like he normally does, it's Baby Bowser hosting it this time. Yeah, you'll realize right away that there is no sign of Toad or Koopa Troopa in this board. It's just you, Baby Bowser, and Bowser all alone on this destroyed star. In most Mario Party boards, not just the ones in Mario Party 1, you only have one star space scattered somewhere on a random spot on the board. However, on Eternal Star, there's not one, not two, not even three, but a total amount of 7 star spaces.
7? Yeah, I guess I can see it. 7.
The Baby Bowsers will fight to make sure you don't get any of the stars. Instead of just going, get to the star, pay 20 coins, voila, bam, you got your star. On here, you have to defeat the Baby Bowsers in a dice block game. If you roll a higher number than him, you get the star with no problem whatsoever, and the star space becomes a chance time space. If you lose, you simply don't get the star and get one of your stars taken away if you happen to have it. Although to my surprise, it's less likely for you to ever lose against these guys, seeing as how you always roll a higher number every single time for whatever reason every time you play on this board. I don't know, maybe it's just my sheer luck or something. Once you get rid of all the Baby Bowsers and their stars, they just reset in the same positions. This may seem easy, but here's another mechanic this board has in store. Since this gigantic star is separated into several itsy bitsy pieces, you have these warp machines that will take you to a random part on the board. The first 2 machines you take around the start give you an idea of where these will take you, but afterwards, it pretty much becomes a Where's Waldo scenario to find the warp machines that will take you to a star space close by. And in some cases, these machines will even take you straight to Bowser for him to do God knows whatever to you. Fantastic. As for the happening spaces, every single one of them will cause Bowser to send every player straight back to the start. So now everyone is affected no matter where you are on this board whenever anyone lands on the happening spaces. Sure, it's probably one of the biggest luck-based things you'll ever play on, but like most of Mario Party, it's an exception. Also, that climactic music. I want to hear that in an epic final showdown in a movie or something. You know, you can never go wrong with sweet, tasty, yummy, sweets. So when you make a board based entirely on that, you get Sweet Dream from Mario Party 5. Everything about yummy, delicious desserts is all wrapped up and shipped onto this board. Some sweets on here include shortbread made into a bridge where every time you run across it, it crumbles and another bridge is made, but onto the opposite side to where the original bridge was destroyed. Kind of like the bridges from Mario Party 4's Bowser's Gnarly Party. Oh, and for sure you can't forget about the cakes and candy scattered across it presented in a tasty fashion. Makes you want to slam your head into all of them at this very moment. 3 certain happening spaces happen to be placed on top of some of these cakes. Once landed on, a mysterious knife that's apparently haunted or something will cut the cake and take you to one certain spot on the board, which is right here where this plate is. The other 2 happening spaces will actually give you a reward of some sort. The one on the small cake at the bottom right will present a coin minigame. You have to throw some candy balls in these cups on the cake. The more candy balls you get into the cups, the more coins you get. Kinda picture it as you're playing basketball, except with candy, and cups, and cakes. The last happening space is at the very tip top of this board. The player who lands on this will get the chance to steal either coins, stars, or capsules from all the other players. This is one of the biggest ways you can absolutely screw up all the other players big time. So if you land on that, you should give yourself a real huge pat on the back. What a way to get a big gift on such a lovely, delicious, scrumptious, tasty board. You know what? Hold up a sec. I'll be right back. What? The board made me hungry. Even if this does seem a little bit overkill. Just go on to the next segment. Don't look at me while I'm eating! You know, as upsetting as it is that Donkey Kong is no longer a playable character in Mario Party anymore, he's a great new addition of being an obstacle to watch out for in these games. I mean, think about it. Up until when Mario Party 5 came out, we had to always worry about Bowser getting in our way and taking our beloved coins and stars. So it's nice to have that being turned around by having this friendly ape actually give us something in return every time you step on a Donkey Kong space. Of course, they had to make some boards based around Donkey Kong since this is Mario Party after all. And while these themed boards for him were all pretty enjoyable in their own way, only 2 of them managed to get on this list. Those being DK's stone statue that was mentioned in part 1, and the next entry for this list, and easily his best themed board, DK's Jungle Ruins from Mario Party 9. The other boards of Mario Party 9 went in one continuous path with numerous obstacles waiting to screw with you. Not in this case. This board is incredibly short as it goes around in a small circle, so because of that you circle around this board twice since you don't go in a straight, albeit obstacle encountering path. Since this is a Donkey Kong board, it would be a sin to not include bananas on here. So instead of mini stars, the players will go around collecting bananas, which isn't such a hard job because every space will contain at least 1 banana. How many bananas you get will depend on how many bananas and Z bananas you get. Obviously, if you get more bananas, you actually get bananas in return and vice versa. This is also the only board in the game that has a DK space in it. Well, for obvious reasons, of course. This DK space will activate a banana wheel, which will cause all the bananas to spin around the board until the player decides to stop it. Once the player does stop this wheel, they will collect any banana that passes by them. The captain event is basically your typical, find the object that contains the most of insert your item here scenario. You just find a barrel that contains the most bananas and hope that the other players get the least number of bananas in this event while the barrels shuffle positions. And again, since you navigate through this board twice, you play this captain event twice. Now's the time to discuss the boss battles on this board. In the other boards on this game, you have to reduce the boss's health down to 0. But these bosses are basically just minigames, seeing as how in both Diddy and Donkey Kong's bosses have you collecting more bananas and you have to collect as many as you can. So yeah, as you can tell, this board is all about the bananas. And really, that's all that matters when you're on a board that's hosted by a bunch of apes. I'll be frank with y'all, when I first looked at Shy Guy's Perplex Express, I thought there wasn't gonna be anything special. But upon playing on it, I was taken by some serious surprise. You travel on 5 separate sections on a train as you try and reach the very end to beat Shy Guy to receive a star if you have the 20 coins for it. One happening space will bring out this Koopa Troopa, and she will give you a chance to give up one of your pieces of candy for a small fee of coins. Another one is in this kitchen, and landing on it will get you sucked into the vent above the stove and vice versa if you're on top of the train. Be sure to keep an eye on the passengers on this train because some happening spaces will ask you to spot a passenger who stole a Koopa Troopa's piece of candy. Yeah, I know, crime of the century, am I right? If you're able to pick out the right section of the train that has the perpetrator, you get 20 coins as a reward. Other happening spaces will bring out Kamek, who will swap out the front section of the train that's close to the star and move it to the very end where the start is, screwing up and advancing some of the players. And in some cases, you'll get sent back to the start losing 5 coins if you're on top of the train, which I think is Nintendo's way of saying to never get on top of a train. Well, you gotta put a safety message in there somewhere, I guess. Again, this didn't seem fun at first, but it's surprisingly the best board of Mario Party 8. Traveling on trains while a train's already going wherever the hell it's going, it's all fun and games. Who wouldn't love to travel on trains if all trains were like this? You know, it's about freaking time we got a pinball related board for Mario Party. We had a pinball minigame about once or twice, but never a board. It doesn't matter if it comes from the most underrated and not so well known installment for Mario Party, I still give them tons of props for finally making a board out of a pinball machine. And who'd have thought? It's owned by Bowser. Never knew he had a thing for pinball machines. You really do learn something new every day. So, for a pinball machine, you'd expect this board to function just like, well, a pinball machine.
No shit, Sherlock.
Anyways, you'll have to expect your coins to play a major part on this board. You can even get some coins just by landing on a happening space, 4 of which will fire you to one certain spot on the board and get 10 coins out of that. You also have this thing in the middle of the board. There are 3 panels and 2 of them will show a random number of coins, and your goal is to match the 3rd panel with the same number of coins in order to actually get some coins out of that. Thankfully, if you don't match them up, there's no penalty. No. That's where the roulette comes into place. You give up however many coins you want and place a Bowser coin on 3 of these numbers. And if the roulette lands on the number you chose, the coins that you receive will multiply by the number you chose. Otherwise, you lose all the coins that you gave up. The happening spaces near the cannon will fire you to 2 certain parts of the board, both of which has this bullseye-like icon on the space that you're being fired at from the cannon. But what you really have to pay attention to is the 3 happening spaces that come after the roulette. Landing on any of these 3 will send you into the pinball machine and send you to 2 certain places, the Bowser Zone or the Star Zone. The Bowser Zone is only what I can define as the insta-fucked area, because if you land on any, and I repeat, any of the happening spaces in the Bowser Zone, you lose everything. And when I say everything, I literally mean everything that you own. With the exception of the items, Bowser will fire a flame that will take away all your stars and all your coins, which is Bowser's way of going, Again, did I mention that I absolutely, positively, motherfucking despise this pizza? Oh, what's the use? Luckily, there is an upside to these 3 happening spaces, and that's the Star Zone. If you're lucky, and trust me, you'll be praying that luck is on your side on this spot in particular, you'll get a reward, and that reward is either 1, 2, or 3 stars. And the best part is, they're absolutely free. No fee or charge or anything in between. The pinball mechanics are exactly what make this board so freaking awesome. Although, might I ask one thing? Where are the Bowser spaces on this board? Yeah, I'm not even kidding. When I look very closely, there are no Bowser spaces on this board, which is surprising seeing as how this is a board that has Bowser in the title, and what the hell am I thinking? I should be blessed. Never mind, scratch that last thing I said. Thank God we finally got our pinball machine board that didn't leave any regrets. But you may be shocked to hear that this isn't my favorite board that's Bowser related. Nah, that's the next segment coming up. So, what's my favorite Bowser themed board? 2 words, Bowserland. Or as other people like to call it, the happiest place on Earth. And by happy, I mean unbelievably hellish nightmare. Actually, when you look very closely, it's pretty much like an amusement park. You know, except it's literally in hell. There's a lot of mechanics you have to pay very close attention to on this board. Firstly, there's the bank. In Mario Party 2, as well as 3, every time you pass by the bank, you give up 5 coins. And if you land on the bank, you get all the coins that were deposited in the bank. Simple as that. But down here in Bowserland, the bank will give you a 5-coin loan. In other words, you get 5 coins. However, if you land on the bank, yeah, you probably know what's going to happen.
Oh, you motherfuckers.
Next, pay attention to the item shop at the top right corner. You're usually allowed to pick whatever item you want in most item shops, but in that particular item shop, a baby Bowser who works in that shop will give you 1 item and 1 item only. Whatever item he chooses to sell to you, you're forced to pay for it at a random cost. You can't negotiate or ask for any other item. Whatever this brat chooses, you have to take it. Before we get to the main attraction of this board though, let's take a look at the happening spaces and their functions. Most of the happening spaces are close to some warp pipes, so logically, you jump into it. And if any of the Mario games taught us anything, is that the warp pipes will warp, no pun intended, to a new location. Same thing here. Jumping in the warp pipe will send you to another warp pipe located on the board. The other 3 happening spaces are near this mechanical blooper. If you land on them, you're commanded to enter this circle that the blooper is in. You're stuck inside here unless you're able to land on any of the 5 happening spaces in this circle. Then you're allowed to get out of there. Thankfully, it's not all about being stressed in this circle. One of the star spaces will be in this circle, so if it manages to get in that circle, you'll be begging to get in that circle. And then you're back to being stressed because you want to get out of that circle after buying the star. Anyways, with all this out of the way, let's get to the most important part of this board, the Bowser Parade. As you travel along this board, you'll notice these tiny buildings with the flames right next to them, as well as a gigantic castle at the very end of the board on top where a panel with feet is placed next to them. You'll be asked if you want to give up 5 of your coins to change the location of these panels. So you might be asking, what are these things used for anyway? Well, once 5 turns passes by, you'll find the answer. Baby Bowser will announce a parade, and then he and a bunch of weird-looking parade floaty things will follow the paths of these panels in which direction it's pointing in. If anyone is in the path of this parade, they're forced to go all the way back to the start, losing 2 coins with every space they pass by. Is there a way to stop this parade? Yes, simply by staying out of the path of the panel's direction. If no one is in the path, then the parade simply won't happen. It's like they literally only made these parades just to see them go out for blood and your precious coins. The item minigame is easily the hardest one in the entire game. It's called Bowser Slots. It's your basic everyday slot machine, and you gotta line up 3 pictures of the same item so you can actually get an item in return. Sounds simple enough, but actually playing the item minigame is easier said than done, seeing as how it's hard to tell when the right item you want will line up. So you just gotta pray that the right item is selected and that you get it 3 times in a row. The duel minigame is Rock Paper Mario. Think of a typical game of rock paper scissors, the Mario edition. You can pick either Mario, Peach, or Bowser. Mario defeats Bowser, Bowser defeats Peach, and Peach defeats Mario. Which I have to say, it's pretty darn clever when this game first came out. Yeah, there's so much crazy shit on this board, and that's part of the fun here. It's so damn crazy and insane for a Bowser board, and the hellish look really does suit a Bowser-related board. Well played, you little douche, you. Well played. For a while, this actually used to be my favorite board when I first played Mario Party. I don't know why, but Sping Desert was always that one Mario Party board I would always play on the most and had the most fun playing on than any other board. To this day, I still enjoy playing this board more than any other board in Mario Party 3. Sping Desert takes place on, where the fuck else, a desert. You should expect pretty much anything from a desert here, including 2 separate sand pits at both sides of this board. Landing on a happening space, which by the way are the only happening spaces you'll ever see on this entire board, will get you captured by the sand pits and spat out on the opposite side. We also have a shortcut on this board that includes 2 cactuses, and that's where action time comes into place. If you want to take the full shortcut, you're going to have to jump over both of the cacti. If you jump too early or too late, the 2 cacti will swat you to 2 certain areas, both of which have a picture on them. The male cactus will send you to this spot, and the female cactus will send you to this spot. But the main gimmick of this board, believe it or not, is the star space. Why? Because there's actually 2 of them on this board. However, here's the catch. One of them is actually a mirage. Only one of these stars are real, and it's your duty to find out which is the real one. You'll find out which one is the real or not when you actually get to either star. No freaking dur. The Millennium Star will either offer you the star for the usual cost of 20 coins, or it'll fade away, giving you the hint that that one was the fake. Yeah, there's really nothing else to talk about for Sping Desert. That's one major flaw that I have with this board. There's not a lot of gimmicks or traps on this board. All we've got is these sand pits and the 2 stars. Which I understand, seeing as how you're dealing with one star being the real one and the other being the fake, but I still wish there were more traps and hidden surprises on this board. I always expected like a tornado taking a player back to the start, or a klepto trying to steal some of your coins. It's a shame we didn't get things like that, but I still continue to have tons of fun playing on here. It was my favorite Mario Party board back then, and it still remains to be one of my favorites today. I guess my nostalgia for this board is still alive and well. Gambling, a way of possibly wasting your money and placing bets that you'll soon regret being a part of afterwards. And what place is home to all of that? Casinos. You need to blame someone for getting all your money taken away? Blame the casinos. But don't blame Goomba's Greedy Gala, because that's actually a pretty fun place to be around. Yeah, this is a casino-themed board, but unlike most casinos out there, it's actually worth your while and your money. So since we're in a casino, why don't we have things you'd expect from a casino? One of which is a humongous roulette wheel in the center of the board. This wheel will decide on which section of the board you'll be going to. Since the star is what you're after, you want to go to the section that has the star. You can even wager your money to hope that you go to where the star is. You can gamble with either 5, 10, or 20 of your coins and bribe the Goomba next to you, so you have a higher chance to go to the section that has the star. Or you can just keep your coins and have a lower chance of going to the section that you want. So you place your bets, and it's time to see where the marble lands on. The bottom left section is red, the bottom right section is green, the top left section is purple, and the top right section is blue. Once your location has been selected, a gigantic hand will grab you and drop you off at that location the marble landed on. If you're lucky enough to have the marble land on the gray star, however, you'll get a 20 coin reward, plus you're allowed to choose the direction you want to go to. All the sections, except for the green section, has a dice area. This will put you in a short game against Goomba that involves dice blocks. It's rather simple. Get a higher number than him, and you'll continue forward as well as get a 10 coin reward. If you lose though, it's back to the start for you. And lastly, there's the happening spaces, which are only on the top right and left sections. The craps table is involved here. The player sits on a poker chip and you go parading to the opposite side of the table collecting coins along the way. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities to win some coins on this board. I mean, it makes sense. This is a casino board in which gambling is involved and the chance to win some money is a part of gambling. Anyways, the last thing is the item and coin minigames. The item minigame involves some Goombas on a deck of playing cards. Each of them contains one item and then they swap positions. Pick one and that's the item you get. Simple as that. The coin minigame has a slot machine. Can't forget the slot machines! And in true slot machine fashion, you gotta line up the same number 3 times in a row and you get that number of coins. If you don't line the same number 3 times, you just get 1 coin. Well, at least they give you something in return. Usually I would stay away from casinos, but I would gladly come back here at least once or twice. Hey, at least in here it's actually fun. I guess to end this board, all I have to say is, let the gambling times roll!
Bells ringing, money flowing. We are certainly not in Kansas anymore.
One of the things I'm fascinated by is Japanese and Chinese culture, and when you mix the culture of Japan and or China with Mario Party, you get a little something like, I don't know, Pagoda Peak from Mario Party 7. Pagoda Peak takes place on top of a gigantic Chinese mountain along with some Japanese buildings at the bottom. Your object is to reach the very top of the mountain and meet up with an old Koopa Troopa who will give you a star depending on what the cost of the star will be, which will be shown at the building that he's staying in. Every time you reach the top and buy a star from him, the cost will increase by 10. Until it reaches 40, then it goes back to 10. Think of this board as Goomba's Booty Boardwalk from Mario Party 8, only China themed and the star actually costs something. You can change the cost of the star yourself by landing on the happening spaces next to some gongs. Hitting these will give you the chance to change the star cost and get some coins in return. Another happening space is 4 spaces away from the start where you're introduced to 2 rockets. One rocket will advance you a lot of spaces close to the star. This can give you a great chance to get ahead of everybody else and give you an even greater chance to get the star. The opposite rocket will send you back to the first space. Yeah, not much of a total loss if you pick the wrong rocket, honestly. You can also practice your ninja techniques near a waterfall by jumping from one platform to another as you collect coins. Then there's the last 2 happening spaces at the top. The one next to the rock chiseled as a lion on fire is another way to get coins, and even a star if you're lucky enough as you try and put out the flame. The one on a Chinese dragon's tongue will swallow you up and then spit you out all the way back to the start, which is only 2 spaces away from the very top. Come to think about it, this is sorta like Goomba's Booty Boardwalk. The only difference is that this board is more forgiving and not as cruel. Kind of a shame that Booty Boardwalk came after Pagoda Peak. I wonder why they made those changes to begin with on that board. This board also gets bonus points for having the most fairly tolerable, but still pretty aggravating, Bowser Time events. The only things he really does on this board is destroy one of the bridges for a turn and create a small tremor that will drop the players to a lower story of the mountain. So if you want the least deadly Bowser Time events, you should definitely play on this board a lot. Combined with the awesome Chinese theme and casual things from China, along with the 1-star location and having a blast trying to get to the very top of the mountain to get your reward, this could have easily been the best board of the Mario Party series. However, there is just one more board that we have to uncover, and that said board is about to be revealed. Before I do that though, I'm going to show you guys a list of honorable mentions. Think of these as the 4th place contenders for each Mario Party game, not counting Island Tour in Advanced. seen 29 of what I consider to be some of the greatest boards in the entire Mario Party series, ranging from haunted places, on top of food, tropical islands, deadly islands, casinos, trains, somewhere over the rainbow, in the mines, and even the closest thing to hell on Earth. But now, we've reached the very last board on this countdown. A board in which I think everyone in the entire world would enjoy playing on. A board that I think has some crazy, batshit insane moments every time you play on it. And a board that combines mechanics from the other boards on this list and puts it all into one. So, what do I think is the best board in the entire Mario Party series? Well, as you could have obviously figured out due to process of elimination, my favorite board comes from my personal favorite game in the Mario Party series, Mario Party 6. Now, it's time for the big reveal of my favorite board, not only in my favorite Mario Party game, but my favorite board in the entire Mario Party series as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, princesses and plumbers of all ages, my favorite board in the Mario Party series is Fair Square from Mario Party 6. Now you might be saying, that's an odd choice. What's so damn special about this board? Well, the special thing about this board is that it looks like some regular everyday town. Sure, we've had places that had hotels and everything, but this just looks as standard as you can get at first glance, whereas the other boards beforehand at first glance you know we're gonna have some kind of catch to it. But as you progress through Fair Square, you get to witness some insane shit that you wouldn't see in such a fair town. First of all, remember when I said that this board combines some mechanics from the other boards I mentioned earlier? Well, I wasn't kidding. On this board, there's only one star space throughout every turn, and you can buy up to 5 of them if you have the money. This was the same gimmick that was used at DK Stone statue. The only catch here is that the price will change at random. You know how Mario Party 6 has a day and night system in it? Well, that's exactly what this is used for, to change the price of the star. In most cases in the day and night system for the other boards in Mario Party 6, they change the board layout a bit, grant you access to certain objects during a specific time of day, or changes what one of the things on the board will give you. But this board only changes the star cost. That's it. Which is pretty sweet if you ask me. It's nice to have a board keep its layout and keep everything in place except for the star. The star price here only changes, however, during the nighttime. Twilight can change the star cost from 5 all the way up to frickin' 40. Yeah, you and your friends will have an insane time just trying to buy a specific number of stars during the night. Once it's daytime again, the star price will return to its original value. Okay, so you're venturing through this board thinking nothing that special is gonna happen because of how ordinary this board seems. But lo and behold, that another gimmick this board is home to is gambling. Kinda like how you gamble in Goomba's Greedy Gala, except you actually have your coins and even your stars on the line. On the left side, you can give up 5 coins during the day, 10 at night, for a chance to win some coins. The coin reward you can receive will be shown, but one item in particular, the treasure chest, will always increase by however many coins all the players have deposited in previously. And man, if you can get 3 of these treasure chests, you can possibly get a shit ton of money. And I'm talking a shit ton. On the right side, you can actually gamble with your stars. During the daytime, you can cough up one of your stars for the chance to win 2 of them. The star is placed in one of 3 hats, and in simple game case scenario, you pick the right hat that has your star and you get 2 of them. It's pretty easy during the daytime, but during the nighttime, it gets pretty challenging. And kinda so fast it's nauseating. During the night, you still place one of your stars on the line, but you can win 3 of them instead of 2. The only catch here is, there are 6 hats that shuffle insanely, inhumanely fast, making it frustrating to pick the one that has the star. But it's okay, because if you don't pick the right hat, that's on you since you're the one who gambled with your star to begin with. You're going into both of these gambling games knowing your belongings are on the line for the hope of winning more stars or coins. The happening space in the middle of the board will call forth all the players for the hope of winning more coins during the day and stars during the night. All players give up 10 of their coins or a star each depending on the time of day, and they pick one of the 4 chimneys that's presented to them. A plant then rises from the 4 separate chimneys, and whoever has the tallest plant with a flower that sprouts at the very top, they get all of the coins and stars that all 4 players deposited. Yeah, when I say there was insane shit you could do on this board, I wasn't lying about that either. Seriously, you could get a lot of stars and coins on this board, it's not even freaking funny. Aside from that happening space, there are 2 happening spaces on the right and another one on the left. The one on the left will bring out a magical broom that will send the player either one space in front of the star or one space behind the star. The other two on the right will simply send the player back to the start. Oh yeah, and there's also this womp at the bottom who will ask you to pay up 10 coins if you want to pass by him. If a board can have a pretty standard and ordinary look to it and present this much craziness, that just shows how you can present something truly incredibly fun. Plus, since there's only one star space on this board, you're allowed a chance to go wherever the hell you want. Yeah, since the star is placed in an area where you can go straight to the star or explore the board some more, there's no penalty or accident if you decide not to go to where the star is. Don't have enough coins to get the star? Go the opposite direction. There's no penalty. Want to see if you can get more coins to buy more stars? Go the opposite direction. There's no penalty. Want to gamble and put your stars and coins on the line and be edgy? Go the freaking opposite direction. There is no penalty. That's why I personally think this is the best board in the Mario Party games. With the other boards, there's always a risk and you could cause a serious fall that could possibly cost you the game. Plus, your goal is to get to the star space since there's only one of them and it changes whenever someone gets to it first. But here, there's no fault or risk here, since it stays in one place and you can always explore the board some more and just wait a while if you don't have enough coins to get the star. You don't have to be the very first person to get to the star, and you can always just take your time. Added to the fact that you can gamble like there's no tomorrow with your coins and stars to get some more of them, giving you and your friends some great chances to get several coins and stars in which you couldn't get this many on the other boards. If a standard looking board can give you all of this shit, then I think there's no contest of what I think is the greatest board in Mario Party. This was just an easy decision on what number 1 was gonna be from the very beginning for me. And this is all why Fair Square is the best board not only in Mario Party 6, but in the entire Mario Party games. Fair Square, you deserve a serious recommendation. Congrats, you insanely awesome board. I'm the Hedgehog Ninja, and I am excited that there's a Mario Party 10 on the way. I just need to get a Wii U in order to play it for myself. Also, Bowser's the worst thing in Mario Party since Hitler.